eyes. Hey guys, Hikari Dude here, coming at you live from our house. This is...
We watched Batman Superman Apocalypse.
He is so... not with humor. Anyway, yeah, we watched Batman Superman Apocalypse. Just kind of first thoughts. I thought it was pretty good. You?
It was good. It wasn't as good as Public Enemies.
I never watched Public Enemies, so...
Oh, Public Enemies is a lot more fun, but this wasn't really meant to be as much fun as Public Enemies. But the plot of this is...
Supergirl comes to Earth.
It's a sequel to Public Enemies in that... And then it takes place shortly afterwards. Batman and Superman have gone their separate ways, although they are brought together again by the coming of Superman's cousin, Kara Zor-El. And while Superman is quick to trust his supposed blood relative, Batman is a little bit more skeptical and calls in Wonder Woman.
He calls her in?
Yeah. So apparently her Supergirl's lack of control, or she's not Supergirl at this point, she's Kara. Her lack of control at this point inevitably causes a lot of property damage, and as a result, she attracts the attention of Darkseid, the ruler of Apokolips, who wants her for his own purposes. So she's basically this movie's MacGuffin.
I don't know what that's a reference to.
Alright, so let's start with the voice acting. The voice acting was pretty solid on most, if not all, fronts. Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy still play Superman and Batman, respectively. And they still had really good chemistry, I thought.
Given that this was a movie, and they didn't really have time to flesh out more interactions between the two of them that weren't arguing about Kara, I thought it could have been stronger.
Well, I disagree. I thought there was plenty of time devoted to that.
Okay, can you think of at least 3 moments where they weren't, or like 3 conversations that they had that weren't either about Kara or Clark's naivety?
That's the main plot of the movie, so... Again, it's a 70 to 80 minute movie, so I don't really know how much you can fault them.
I think they could have extended it to have more character. Because, let's be honest, nobody really changes, other than maybe Supergirl.
And Batman. Batman becomes less skeptical. I mean,
like he does in every single one of his arcs?
He goes through a believable arc in this one.
I didn't see it.
How did you not see it? They pointed right at it several times.
It's the same arc that they go through with Batman Forever, where he becomes more trusting of other people.
This is better than Batman Forever.
So, still the same arc.
Alright, well, what did you think of the performances of Tim Daly and Kevin Conroy?
They were still pretty solid. I can't really think of anyone else who did a bad job, but I do recall that you didn't like Darkseid in this one because of the voice actor.
Andre Braugher. He's fine as Darkseid. I wish they had brought back Michael Ironside, but Andre Braugher he's okay. He's not as menacing as Michael Ironside was, but he does possess some, and he does possess. You can clearly tell that he's an intelligent guy from the way he kind of articulates a lot of his speeches. And also, he's got that naturally deep voice, so I can see why they cast him as Darkseid, but I think some of his line readings were a little too quick and a little too casual, a little too matter-of-fact. I just thought he lacked conviction at some points, but other than that, he didn't do a bad job. It's just he's vastly inferior to Michael Ironside. What'd you think? How did you like him?
Anything Darkseid's in, I'll take it. I will agree with you that he isn't as good as Michael Ironside because Michael Ironside just had that awesome voice. But I will say that I liked how he, like at the end where he fought Superman.
I'll get to that in a second.
When he was like when he first talks to him when he pushes him away. at that last fight scene.
Hmm.
I like that line.
Okay. Well, how about Summer Glau as Supergirl?
She was good. I do prefer the Justice League Unlimited Supergirl.
Same one who was in Superman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
She seemed a little bit more perky, a little bit more likable.
Yeah, she was a lot more likable. This girl, she reminds me a little bit of Thea from Arrow, because it seemed all she did was complain unless she was like shopping or something.
Well, I understood why she was complaining, and Summer Glau didn't do a bad job by any
No,
stretch of the
she
imagination.
didn't do a bad job. I believed every single one of her lines, but
But I think she was a little bit too angsty compared to the Supergirl I'm used to,
yeah,
which is this very cheery, like, oh, geez, Superman.
holy rollers! Am I ever glad I take good care of my teeth?
Okay, well, last but not least, how about Susan Eisenberg reprising her role as Wonder Woman? She still remains my favorite Wonder Woman.
She's my favorite Wonder Woman as well, except... Actually, I'll go into this soon. Let's talk about the art direction.
Oh, no. What? Did you not like Susan Eisenberg's performance?
No, it's nothing about that.
So you thought she did a good job?
Yes, I thought she did fine. But let's talk about the art direction. I hated the art direction in this film.
You don't want to say that because this was a tribute to a deceased comic book artist.
So,
I believe.
if I don't like it, I don't like it. I'm not going to change that because someone died.
Well, by its very nature, the art style in this and what they were paying tribute to was completely different than the art style in Public Enemies. Public Enemies, the colors were very bright and vibrant.
This one, it seemed a lot more like dark. Like
yeah,
darker.
they darkened up the colors.
Even like the happy places like the Kent Farm and Outdoor Metropolis, they looked flat, you know?
I don't really want to say flat, but it wasn't really as, the colors weren't really as warm as Public Enemies. And even the designs of a lot of the characters really reflect, I believe Michael Turner is the artist.
Yeah.
Even the character designs, the females all had these pretty big eyes, the big eyelashes, these very lanky figures.
I really hated the character design in this film. Number one, I don't like how the lips look. It's the same style in Young Justice, where their lips are like really big and tight into their, like in the center of the face. But the thing is, when they smile, they don't look like they're smiling. They look like they're puking.
I didn't see that.
Well, that's an exaggeration.
Well, beyond.
But other than that, it's not that bad. Wonder Woman still looks fine. Superman still looks like Superman. They don't change any of the character designs. They just alter them to fit with the style. And another thing, I hated Batman's like lines. I think it's to show that he's getting older or something, or maybe it's just a stylistic decision. But either way, they gotta go.
Well, all the characters in this were very tall and thin and almost lanky. So,
dude, did you see Supergirl? She was like bones.
Well, again, that's how it was in the original comic book. I have read the original comic book, and from a design standpoint, this is pretty true to the original comic book. So, from that angle, I can appreciate the art design, but I mean, it's kind of the same way in which I talked about Batman Gotham Knight. I did not like the art design in Batman. I did not like the design of Batman Gotham Knight, the whole anime style design.
I'm kind of curious to see how Gotham Knight is.
But you haven't seen it? I think you'll like it better than I do since you're a big anime fan. But here, I kind of like the character designs. Do I like it as much as Public Enemies? No. But
Do you like it better than the Justice League series?
But no, Justice League. I'll save that for another day. But this one, I think. Well, there was a definite sense of style, and also basically making everyone very tall and
muscular.
Well, not really muscular, but very thin. I mean, even the people who
like
you would even the people who you would expect to have broad shoulders really didn't.
Yeah, Batman's shoulders kind of slumped, if you notice.
So did Superman's.
I didn't notice Superman's as much.
Well,
this looked like a
Superman is supposed to be a little.
It was
bit
like
bigger
a
than Batman.
slight, decrease.
So yeah, I can see where they were coming from, and I didn't mind it. And the benefit of doing it like that is because when they're in Darkseid's throne room or whatever, when they're in a place that's supposed to be very imposing, then
Yeah, it gets very, very
then
big and epic and scary at some points.
yeah, it's almost
Like
like
Tim Burton.
well, no, it's almost like some kind of gothic design.
Yeah.
Not in terms of how the overall buildings are designed, but in how they're depicted in this. So I don't know. I kind of liked it. I thought it was an interesting experiment.
I respect what they were trying to do, paying a tribute to a fallen artist, but I still can't get used to it. But now that we're done with that,
The fight scenes, the action scenes,
they were very good.
they were very well animated. Yeah, they were brutal.
They were a lot better than a lot of anime out there. And that's saying a lot because anime usually puts all their money into fight scenes. It's not the best fight scenes in an animated picture of any kind, but it's close.
This one it does what a lot of in my opinion it takes it one step farther in that it uses a lot of the same techniques that these animated movies, these DC animated movies have been using, in that they're very close to the action, but not too close so that you can't see it. This one, it's like they took that one step farther. You know what I mean?
It looks like they. I didn't see the earlier DC animated movies, but in this one, it looked like they really knew what they were doing with the fight scenes, and they knew exactly what they were doing.
And they weren't really holding back either.
Yeah, I don't know if the other DC movies withdrew blood, but this one doesn't.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, they were decapitations.
Yeah, and with oh god, what's her name? The captain, the defected captain.
Oh, the Big Barda.
Barda stabs someone in the back, and you see like the blood dripping. You know.
Yeah, I think this is rated PG-13 for a reason. It's not.
And another thing, it has like a small nude scene at the beginning. Like it's kept in the shadows when Supergirl first.
It's not really a nude scene.
Yeah, it's like Supergirl meets these three horny construction workers, or
and
whatever.
she's silhouetted.
Yeah, she's silhouetted, so you don't see anything.
Well,
and when she comes into the light, you see her lips, and that's about it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Terminator. If Terminator was PG-13, it's kind of like Terminator Salvation. Think of Terminator Salvation, but like when you see the fake Arnold Schwarzenegger at the end, how you can tell that he's naked, but you don't see anything.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that. Just picture that. But the writing, I had some problems with. First of all, there were a few plot holes in this, and I'm not just saying this.
They do a fake out halfway through.
Well, now
it's really annoyed me.
Here's the thing: there are one or two fake outs and misleadings, but there are also a few plot holes. First of all,
wait, is this spoilers?
Yes.
Okay, so before we get into this, final thoughts if you're not coming here for spoilers. I thought it was good. I thought it was well done, but I can't get past the art direction to call it a great film. I will be watching those fight scenes one or two times in the future, though.
I thought it was a little bit. See, I liked the art direction. But to me, where this movie's flaws lie is in the writing and in some of the story elements and in some of the characters, or lack thereof. So, yeah, the voice acting, the action scenes, and the animation really carry this movie, and it's nice to... It's definitely a departure from Public Enemies. Public Enemies was almost non-stop action. It was meant to be fun. This tries to tell a more personal story, and in that it mostly succeeds.
And it's not to say it's devoid of character, it's just that some characters that should have been focused on more were not. And
could have been,
as such, their arcs couldn't really affect you as much.
They could have been cut out.
Yeah, well, they could have been cut out. So.
Okay, so plot holes. Well,
spoilers.
Why does Darkseid need Kara? I mean, he says that he wants her to lead his Furies, but...
Why do the Furies need a leader? They're trained. They can work well together.
Well,
couldn't Darkseid just give them orders and they go there? And they go to the place and kill the people?
Or, I don't know. He he chooses, out of all the people in the galaxy, he chooses Kara. I don't know. Also,
well, they do say that she could be more powerful than Superman.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that. How would he know about...
Well, he knows the Kryptonians, doesn't he? He knows that, like, youth brings about more power.
How would he know she landed on Earth?
Yeah, that is a good point.
Where did he get the Doomsday clones?
Well, that you could kind of put up to his being an all-powerful, like, unto a god. He kind of has superior technology and superior, like, powers that allow him to do that. That I could probably let go. Because you have a guy in red and blue tights that absorbs sunlight to fight with supernatural powers. I think we can, like, give Darkseid the benefit of the doubt on that.
Okay, well, they claim that Supergirl's going to the Amazon island of Themyscira. They claim that was with the intention of training her powers. But we never actually see her practicing her powers. We see her sword fighting. And we do get one line from Wonder Woman where she basically says, having powers and knowing how to use them are not the same thing. So there's that, but we never really get anything beyond that, and that might have something to do with the length.
Yeah,
but it also has something to do with the character of Lila, the Harbinger.
I hated Harbinger. Well, I didn't hate her. I just hated the twist that came with her.
Because the twist you can see a mile away.
Yeah, because the first time they show the twist, it's basically Harbinger sees the future. She opens up a portal thing, and she sees the future through that. So the first time you see that future of Superman holding a blonde in his arms, dead,
you know, wrapped in his red cape.
Yeah, the portal disappears, and you see a blonde, Lila. So,
well, also her character was almost totally pointless. I mean,
it was non-existent, basically.
Well, first of all, she was completely underdeveloped. I mean, we're supposed to feel sad when she dies, but I'm like, okay, am I supposed to care about this woman? Because you haven't really given me any indication, or you haven't really given me any kind of insight into her personality, other than she's scared about the future. But again, they introduce her about halfway through,
and then they kill her about 2/3 of the way through.
10 minutes later.
Yeah. You see snippets of her, but I'm the kind of person that just looks at the emotions of the characters. Well, not just looks, but generally looks in the direction of the emotions of the characters. So I can sort of not forgive, but understand where they're coming from. Like the characters feeling bad that she died, because you could at least tell that they have known her for a long time. She is a part of the Amazons.
Well, yes, but that's the point of show don't tell.
Time constraints, man.
Well, here's what I would have done to get around that. Completely excise her character from the movie. Yeah, you would have lost the whole vision thing, but the whole vision of the future subplot didn't hold any tension in the first place.
It was pretty pointless. First of all, you kind of know they're not going to kill off Supergirl because she's Supergirl.
And plus, Darkseid basically said, "Oh, I want her in my army."
Yeah. So you know they're not going to kill her. And the only other blonde in the movie is her.
And also cutting her out would have given more time that might have been devoted to Barda, who was introduced 2/3 of the way through.
And the most we learned about her is she was the captain of the Furies, and that she ran away, and that she was twisted.
Yeah. So, but cutting out Harbinger wouldn't really have diminished any of the stuff on Themyscira. Supergirl would have still gotten angry at Superman and Wonder Woman for supposedly not paying attention to her opinion and not giving her a say, but and she still would have eventually been captured by Darkseid. So the character of Harbinger was completely and utterly pointless, except for that subplot, which didn't hold any tension. So yeah, I rest my case. She was pointless.
She is pointless. I will agree with you there.
So,
but she's there.
The other major narrative aspect about this that I didn't like was the double climax.
Yeah, that was pretty dumb.
They have this big fight
I got this. So basically, once Kara gets captured and twisted to become evil, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Barda go to Apocalypse, and while Barda and Wonder Woman take out the Furies, Batman activates Hellspores, which could blow up the entire planet, and Superman goes to get Kara. So since Kara is evil, Superman and Supergirl have a gigantic fight. Then Batman comes in and like.
Point is, everything works out. That should have been the end.
Yeah,
of the movie.
everything works out. Batman came up with a good plan to stop Darkseid because doesn't he know that Darkseid kind of keeps his word most of the time?
He knows that Darkseid doesn't want his planet to get blown up. But anyway,
But-
they resolve that conflict. Supergirl is released. They rescue her. They go back to Themyscira. They say their goodbyes. They bring Supergirl to Smallville,
And then when they're about to go into the house,
which is where the movie should have ended. The credits should have rolled when they started going into the house.
Darkseid's hand bursts through, and
And they had this 10-minute fight.
I actually really liked that fight, though.
It was a good fight.
It was a really good fight.
It was a good fight, but really, it was a double climax that basically tricked the audience. And double climaxes just kind of jerk you in
Hey, it's
two
kind of like Return of the
directions.
King.
No, Return of the King did not have a double climax.
Yeah,
Return of the King
it had a
resolution.
It had a quintuple climax.
No, that was not the climax.
Whatever. Okay. Anyway, so
Return of the King's better than this, but
whatever.
yeah, it's a good fight, but really,
Why did you need that? You didn't need that. If you wanted to have that gigantic fight with Darkseid, have the gigantic fight with Darkseid
On Apocalypse.
On Apocalypse, where it's cooler than the Kent farm.
they trashed the Kent farm.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how much they ruined that place. It offered a good joke at the end, though.
Yeah, well, overall, I liked it. Not my favorite, but it's a pretty solid entry.
I think it was good. It wasn't great, but again, that might be just my taste in art design. But I will say this: it's not completely devoid of characters, unlike some films. Yep. Well, that had character, but not very good ones.
Russell Crowe.
What?
Russell Crowe is the best part of Man of Steel.
Whatever. It wasn't completely devoid of character. It had good moments, and it had amazing fight scenes. So I think overall that's enough for a watch. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a buy, though.
It's only over an hour.
Yeah, it's like 70 minutes plus 10 minutes of credits, I think.
It'll keep you entertained, and comic book fans will be pleased. As far as I could tell, it does stick relatively close to the comic book. And thankfully, this is a comic book that translates, or at least better to film than a lot of other comic books that they tend to use. Like the next one on the list, All-Star Superman. So,
Not coming back for that one.
oh god, you lucky duck.
Maybe it could be like your Divergent review where I ask you questions about it.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.